We'll start with keynote presentation by Katarzyna Hanula-Bobbitt, a Senior Public Affairs Officer from Finance Watch, which is a Brussels-based think tank, public policy center, which motto is making finance serve society. And she will present some background information how the finance regulations changes and how the theories that we discussed during the 2 days of our conference actually could be implemented into policies, or what could be like possible problems in going from theory to practice. Katarzyna, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. After this introduction, I cannot wait to hear what I'm going to say. So, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Because I'm not a professor and I'm not an academic, and I work in public affairs, I have the tendency to simplify. I also have the tendency to talk whenever people are checking their phones. So no matter what you do, you cannot stop me, basically. I learned that hard way talking to politicians. So yes, so the topic of the redefining economics, I think it's very important, because we still, in Brussels, we still live in the same dogma that we used to live before crisis. And crisis, you probably remember it. It was something that was supposed to shake the capitalist system. So people claim that the socialism was dead, and now the capitalism is back. But it's not necessarily the truth that we have. So next, this was the strong political agreement to what the crisis, what are we going to do, what are the political commitments. All the very important people gather and try to stabilize the situation to that cause. And this is basically what happened. You probably know that, but I know that the memory of people is very short. So I just will keep a slide for a while, and then I will try to give you background what I'm going actually to talk about. So I'm going to talk, because I'm really happy to have this keynote before the financialization panel, because you will hear a little bit more in details and in a great, probably academic way, how the financialization works. What I do for my day-to-day is I have to work with financial industry. I have to work with the financial policy, and actually my job is to influence the outcome of this policy to, as Tomek said, make the finance serve society, which is not so obvious. So yes, so after all these great commitments that what we're going to do, how we're going to save the world, we just end up with this great solution that we either nationalized or we basically taken over by using public funds some of the biggest institutions, and because there was no other way. The financial sector grew to that extent that at some point people were just panicking and they didn't know how to stabilize the situation, because the sector was so interconnected and it was so opaque that people just decided that if they let somebody collapse, then basically we are going to be even worse situation that we are right now. So the only thing that was led to collapse was Lehman Brothers, and we know that the consequences of that action was a very severe economy depression. So now this is Brussels. It's 4 square kilometers, and that's where the magic happens. I try to provoke you a little bit, because as you are academics, you like to sit and think, and I know that universities are great and they're very comfortable, and you meet all intelligent people that are basically there to discuss with you on the similar level that you have. This is Brussels. 85,000 people goes to work every day. So 85,000 people that from different backgrounds, from different countries. 35,000 of them is actually responsible for making policy, plus some MEPs that are there from time to time, but they usually treat their job very lightly, some of them at least. So yes, so this is Brussels. How many of you that is actually involved in the economic theory went to Brussels to talk to somebody important?
How important?
It depends how important.
How important?
How important.
To talk to somebody.
A friend.
Okay, so we have some people that. How many times did you go to talk to that person or group of people? Once.
I will go once.
Once. 1, 3, 5. Yes. And you think that you were very successful in conveying your message and making sure that what was actually your idea that you're trying to sell was no. So you basically just went there, made a speech, and left. Or it was a little bit more subtle.
Interactive.
They give wine at the end.
Oh yes, that's a very good thing of Brussels. There's always wine and food somewhere. Like you just have to really not even look for it very much, but there's always wine and food. So yes, so this is Brussels. This is basically what we are talking about when we're talking about changing economic policy and making actually something work. So I am a lobbyist, so then I will talk a lot about financial lobbying and how the banks are there, and then I tell you a little bit about Finance Watch and what we're actually trying to do. But I think that the Brussels is very captured. Brussels thought is basically one single way of thinking. Just because you have a lot of people that are giving you a message from the multiple sources, multiple times. Going once, going 4 times, having wine, it's nice. But if you're really trying to change something, you have to do it frequently. I go to meetings, probably 75% of my work is just going to meetings and eating with someone. So it's very nice. It's deadly for the diet. So I don't really want to question my liver anymore, but this is the other topic of the conversation. So yes, so this is me as a single person, but then there is a whole big industry that is there, that is trying to shape the economic policy, that is trying to put what is important for them on the table and trying to convince politicians that this is the way to go, that there is no other way to go. Do you think that the neoclassical approach just appeared? And then people start like following it because, and politicians decide like, yeah, actually, looking at this from that point, we will deregulate. Because I like the word, I like what it's coming to, I'm not busy enough, so I'm just going to scrap some regulation to make everything better. No, this was the power of financial lobbying. Somebody had the idea to put this into the public space and start discussing. For lobbyists, the worst thing that may happen is that some politician, during making a speech, they use the term that you didn't hear before. Because it's like, who talked to him? It's like, why is there? One of the points is Capital Markets Union. Did you hear about Capital Markets Union? Yes. When does it start? Somebody knows? Microphone. No, not microphone. Okay, sorry. So the Capital Markets Union idea came when the new commission appeared. And during his speech, Juncker said, well, we have several priorities, the Commission is going to work in the new way, and we're just going to develop Capital Markets Union. Brussels, just like everybody, hold this breath. What is Capital Markets Union? For lobbyists, this is the greatest way. If we don't know what it is, we make it what we want it to be. So everybody starts selling their ideas of what they think Capital Markets Union is going to be. So first you have some whispers from the central bank that they can use it for the monetary policy. And then you had the whispers, and not so much whisper, but a little bit more from financial lobbyists, that they actually, hey, we have a great ideas how to create jobs and growth in Europe. And right now you can play the full bingo. Whenever you go for the meeting, there are certain terms that are going to appear. So Capital Markets Union, small medium enterprise, growth and jobs, those are the terms that are always on every conference. Then we're moving to another thing, and there's something new. So yes, so financial political power. This is something which I think will move nicely towards the debate on the financialization. So there are 3 ways that the financial institution and the financial player can secure the power over the policy making and the legislative process. So it's instrumental, it's so easy as lobbying. I told you, you talk to people, you go, you drink, you basically write and rewrite some papers. They're not long papers. Like nobody really have the attention span to hold longer for it than for a page. So you always produce a very nice shiny report with a lot of graphs and a lot of very important things, and then you're doing summary. And if you're lucky, somebody's going to read your summary. If not, it's just going to land straight in the bin. Then it's ideological. As we say, there is a neoliberal policy consensus, but people don't really feel that they need to change it. Why to change something that works so well? Like, we have some hiccups with the crisis, but, well, it was because we, my favorite argument is like, the crisis happened because of the negative, like very low interest rates. And this is the only, basically, explanation for the crisis. And no matter if it's true, but if you keep on repeating that thing, and a lot of people who are in the same way with you keep on repeating it, then the policymaker was like, I think that somebody said something about the very low interest rate, and that's going to cause the crisis, so now we are. But yes, so this is the spin that you're doing. So you're trying to put the arguments that are very favorable for you to make the policy change the way you want. And then, because the financial sector is a bully, they always tell you that if you don't let them do certain things, they're going to move the capital to some other country that is better, and then you're going to lose. And as we know, the big financial sector, big financial institution is the geopolitical powers that, you know, a lot of governments would like to know. Because we like, if we're French, we like more big French banks than the big German. So it's as easy as it is. That's basically what lobbyists do. So we write the law, we talk to the politician, we're trying to sell the ideas that the politicians think and breathe, and they're pretending that they are their own. So this is something that I said, that, you know, why the financial sector is so important, and basically what the supremacy depends. So this is something that we basically are trying to conquer, and this is a lot of evidence that the lobbying is really stopping the reforms. The reforms are super complex. If you look at the financial regulation, the 40 Acts, I don't think nobody understands. The law should be simple, but what we did during the last crisis, we basically regulate in the way that the sector is being created. So we match the complexity of the regulation to the complexity of the sector. We did, and we have such a great chance to change everything, to make it simple and easy and really stop certain behaviors. But we, because of the political power of financial lobby, we just adjust. So for finance, what is really important that we actually have the regulation that is going to fulfill its purpose, and we think that this is something that we did a campaign, but to give you an idea of, because we are not really a campaigning organization, but we talk to NGOs, we talk to academics, we're trying to convince a lot of people why it's important to care, and what they do, they don't care. So you can basically talk to them and trying to convince them that this is the way to go. And they say, yeah, that campaign is nice, we understand, but it's not really the way to go. So you have the status quo of making the regulation. So you basically have the regulation that is approved by the financial sector, because they are experts. They know what they're talking about. Nobody else will really try to find a way to find out what's leverage, what's excessive leverage, what's securitization, what's CDOs. People are just getting confused. Every citizen doesn't care. Every citizen cares if they cannot get money from their bank account. That's what they care, or if they cannot pay for something using their card. And basically that, or if they lose a lot of money, or if they get mortgage in the Swiss francs and then somehow somebody do like a really bad thing like the Central Bank of Switzerland, and now everybody's suffering. But before that, nobody cares. As long as the sector works, people are just being happily oblivious on what is going on and how to deal with the thing. So then we have experts group that are being overrepresented by financial industry, or people that, academics that are still in the same way of thinking, that are being sponsored by the financial industry. How many of you applied to the expert group of the Commission? No? So there are calls for experts, and academics could sit on many of the groups to basically give the advice to the Commission that how the policy should be shaped. And who is being very represented? People who have an access to Brussels, and they can tell people that are thinking alike to them, you should apply because this group is going to start. So the group, for example, is on insolvency, on capital markets union, on capital frauds, on monetary policies. There are expert groups for everything, because European Commission is very inclusive, and they want to hear from the stakeholders. And the stakeholders, of course, are also academics, because you are very smart, you're sitting and you're reading, and that's the basically luxury that not many people can afford. So nice job. But then it's not being used to actually shape the policy. It's being used to debate at the close conferences without really taking an approach, proactive approach, and trying to change something. So this is basically something that I would like to provoke you a little bit to do. You're not present. You can do a lot of conferences and you can write a lot of papers that nobody is going to write. But if somebody is trying to put your name into Google, it looks very impressive because you have a lot of publication. But it doesn't change what is going on in Brussels. What it changed is basically that the same people are over and over in the same group. So how you want to change something if you're not there? So this is the financial sector. I really like this chimera. I stole it from somebody, so I don't remember from what presentation, but I think it's a good representation of what we have after. So this is the regulator that is trying to paint the chimera with this nice net. And this is basically what we are ending up after the financial crisis. The regulation looks like this. The regulation is always, the regulators will always try to catch something that they are not really adjust, because the regulation is not being really fit for purpose. Because it's just so about finance. So we were established in 2011 from the call from the members of European Parliament that decided that they get too much input from the industry and nobody really represents the civil society. So a finance watch was established, then the 200 members of the Parliament and the European Parliament signed a call. And we are a membership organization. So we have members that are other NGOs that we're trying to convince that working on finance is important, trade unions, we have some academics in the network because it's always good to get somebody, if you need some research on certain points, to just push him to actually go talk to somebody on the certain topics. And we also have individual members that are people who have some financial expertise and we can use for it. So I already talked to you a little bit about the firepower of financial law. So this is basically how it looks like. So 120 millions of euros is being spent by the industry to lobby their interest. So it's going against 4 million of spending from the people who are trade unions, NGOs, and other interested party to respond to the consultation, to basically get involved in the policy. So on every person that is being somebody important in Brussels and deciding on how the policy is going to be shaped, there are 4 industry lobbyists. So you always have like 4 people that could follow you if you want that to change your mind on something. So the influence is there. So it's very so it's not really even game, but that's how it is. So this is something just to show you how the net works. Basically, how to influence European Commission, and because I love picking up on Deutsche Bank, because it's such a paradox with Deutsche Bank, because it's so fragile and so stable at the same time. It's a good bank to have in that. So as you see, all the other organizations, the grey circles are the association and organization in Brussels that represent Deutsche Bank. Besides that, Deutsche Bank represents itself. So you have one message that is being conveyed not only by one market participant, but by many other organizations that speak the same way. And it's basically something that if you hear it from so many different sources, the Commission is going to be more prone to listen to you. So because that's how it is, unfortunately. So, and this is the legislative process in Brussels. So all those dots are the points that you can influence the process. So any of you in any point contacted basically some politicians or the Commission or somebody from the Council to sell their ideas or to present some, because I know it's not only for financial policy, I know that it comes also for example, the health, the patents, everything. That's basically the process, how it looks like. And if you want to change something, you should probably be active for every of those points to monitor how it's changing, if the proposal is going in the direction that you would like it to be. And at the end, you still can, in a financial regulation, you still have something which is called level 2, which moves completely from the legislative phase to the technical phase, when you still have consultation, when there is still a big presence of of financial industry lobby because it's technical, and we love commission like the technocracy and the evidence and the technical expertise. So if you cannot provide them with that, then you're losing the game, because they really look for that. They really try to build the policy based on that. So this is basically the definition by John Kay about financialization, and I think it works for what I'm talking to you today about, that the sector is just too big. The sector is super complicated. The sector is being overly influential over economic policy that is being shaped on the European level. So I hope that maybe during the presentation there would be something, the panel discussion, there would be something. But this, I just want to show you something interesting, because I remember, I'm not a great investor, like I don't invest much, but my father, when I was trying to invest, he said like, look, because there is nothing that can go up all the time. There's always like, if you have an investment, you should go a little bit up, a little bit down, like just show how the cycle changes. But if you look at the total assets of banks, they just go up. And what the assets are based on? Like, are they based on real economy, or are they just based on something else? Because if we can blow the asset until the sky, what's the real value of what actually in the balance sheet of the banks, and how we can actually monitor what is going on? So this is just something that we were trying to show to general public about how big is the financial sector, and how the financial sector is actually, how it endangered the European economy, and how if nothing changes, we will go into more and more trouble. And of course, as I said, that is, it's really a drag on economic growth. And I will speed up because I usually don't speak so often but I want to show you the new agenda for Europe. So this is the job, growth and investment, because we just finished the crisis, and we don't really care about financial stability anymore. We really need to growth and jobs for Europe. So what is the Commission's response? Securitization. Sounds familiar? So securitization. Securitization is right now the greatest invention of the European Commission. But what I want to talk to you is the word spin, like how to spin a message to make it what you want it to. So securitization. After the subprime, everybody probably heard about the subprime, and we have the movie with Brad Pitt, so it's like so then we have a securitization. So securitization was dead. We don't like securitization. Is the evil of our evil. The Guardian called it the crack cocaine of financial services. It was really horrible. We hated securitization. Well, we hated securitization. So moving a little bit more in time, then there was a very important paper presented by the England and ECB about what could be a good securitization, right? Okay, so then there was a consultation on what is the good securitization. So we decided that, okay, now we have two types of securitization. We had the bad securitization. Still, we don't like it a lot, like this all exotic things, like the CDO square, nobody knows, like everybody hates it. But now we have a good securitization. Simple and transparent, right? Cannot be any better. Simplicity and transparency is the way to go. So then Commission decided, simple and transparent, that sounds actually good, because the sector is not profitable at all. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring the profitability back to the sector. So securitization is actually really a good way to deal with that, because they can just create credit and repackage, and basically everything that generates income can be securitized. Perfect. But there was even Bowie bonds. I don't know if you heard about it. So this is a good example that you can securitize something like your love to basically certain type of music. And so then we are right now, so the Commission said, great idea, securitization, intermediation chains are extending, and then we bring in the profitability back to sector. By the way, they can lend, because right now the banks cannot lend. That's like just, they said that, well, we could technically lend to SMEs that are backbone to the European economy, but it's too expensive. So what the bank should do? I don't know, but it's a good question. I guess if somebody of you would like to write a paper about what banks do, that would be. So the bank said that, no, lending to SME too risky, we don't want to do that, but if we have securitization, we can actually securitize. So then you have SMEs, right? The party is interested, and they like, Yeah, but we can get credit, but we don't want to because we are scared of the lack of the certainty, and then that we don't really know if we're going to pay, so we don't really want. But banks like, no, you do. We're going to securitize it, and it's going to be fine. But like, okay, you securitize it, but we cannot afford that because it's too expensive. No, the government is going to guarantee it because that is going to lower the cost. So it's a perfect solution for basically securitization. So, but then we created that, it's a simple and transparent. 36 basically criterion to make it simple. Way to go, Commission, the negotiations still are ongoing, so maybe we go to 100, but I don't know. Everybody can put something what they would like to be a simple and transparent securitization. It's the biggest shopping list that you can imagine in practice. But then they say, but remember, we talk about the bad securitization, right? The synthetics, the CDOs, and all those other things. Right now they say, like, but actually the simple and transparent is not really profitable enough, so maybe we can allow certain times of the synthetics to be put back on the table because that really will help us to arbitrage the risk because we would like to risk share and so on and so on. So right now we are discussing again what caused the crisis, but nobody really remembers, so we're having the discussion again. So this is one of my first, so I'm very happy to share with you my observation on that. So this is basically what securitizations or synthetics. So the financial market that is being fueled again by the same mechanism is going to grow even bigger. And so we have the same thing. So the market is not really nicely regulated. The market right now is something that regulation is not the way to go. So their new commission, which has a very progressive approach to deregulating, said, oh, we understand that we just did too much. We did 40 different types of regulation and the delegated acts, and we understand your industry that it's really costly. So what we're going to do to help you, we're just going to call for evidence what you don't like. And basically what is really the way that you don't want to apply anymore. So we understand the compliance cost, the reporting is super difficult. So let's just complain on everything that we put as the post-crisis regulation, that you can give us constructive approach towards what you don't like. Now, recently there was a public hearing and Commissioner Hill said that they understand and they're going to work. We didn't yet implement most of the financial law that has been put forward. It's 2019, 2020, but right now the financial industry can already give a constructive evidence that it's not really, it's not going to work. So, yes. Any of you maybe responded to the cumulative impact of financial regulation? Anybody research financial services? No, of course not. But this is the way, this is what we're dealing with every day. This is basically that we don't have resources. The financial sector has a lot of resources. Academics are not engaged in the debate. Then we have national interests that are very present. So even your engagement on the national level would be very helpful. So, yeah, my only conclusion to that would be next crisis, or are we changing finance? Poprzedniego slide. This one.
Yes, this.
I'm happy to discuss because I think that's going to be more interesting if I still have time, because I don't.
Maybe we'll continue the discussion after the panel.
Okay.
So
that would be all on my side. I'm really happy to be here. I'm really happy that this gives you a little bit food for thought, how the Brussels is actually working, and that it's not really difficult to influence. You just have to be present. You can be present either by sending something to people who are there or to the politicians that are there, because there are a lot of academic networks that are being very active, and there is a lot of like-minded people that are just not being heard. So, thank you very much. And